Hi everyone, it's Tori from the Kirk Tori Story coming to you from the Island Princess in February 2024. Today I have something really special to share with all of you. I've had the privilege of meeting two incredible individuals on board, Dr. Sue and Dr. Bob, who really don't need much of an introduction if you've been traveling on any of the Princess cruises in the last few years. Their stories are not just inspiring, they're life-changing. Sue, a prolific writer, is currently working on her next masterpiece, and Bob, well, he's celebrating a milestone birthday. So please join me as we delve into their world, their wisdom, and their boundless inspiration. This is an interview you do not want to miss.
Wake up early in the morning and I'm waiting for the sun to rise. Stars fade away, our brand new day. Don't be lazy, don't be shy, hold my hand and kiss the night goodbye. Open your eyes, whoa, shine your light. Whoa, shine your light.
Well, hello, Dr. Sue and Dr. Bob. We're here on the Island Princess, and I noticed that you guys are matching clothes. You do this all the time. So tell me, how is that? Like, how do you get all these clothes, and why do you do this?
Well, we do it for fun. We've been doing it for several years, and we just like dressing alike. We laugh and say we shop in the same stores. And we don't really do it to attract attention, although I gotta tell you, it does attract attention.
Yes,
But we do it it's a fun thing for us. We think alike, we eat alike, we dress alike, and it's fun for us.
Yes, I really love your clothes, and I always see a lot of people coming up to you. Everybody, staff, cruise passengers. Everybody always comes up, and it's a really good way to segue into a conversation and really get to know you.
Yes,
So
and I think one thing interesting, I've found that they really remember us. So many people, because we cruise a lot, we cruise about 250 days a year.
wow.
People come in and they say, oh yeah, I knew you, I met you on last year. And of course it's easy for them to remember because they maybe only been on one or two cruises. But for us, it's hard to remember, but they remembered that we dressed alike. And so we kind of stood out.
Yes.
You know.
So where do you shop to get your clothes?
Well, we shop on different places. Like yesterday, we had shirts on that had all the different flags. And it was interesting. Someone came up and said, "Where's the United States flag?" And I bought that shirt for us in Japan and had never looked, but it doesn't have a U.S. flag on it, which I thought was funny.
So I noticed that you guys are wearing captain hats. So what is that about?
Well, that's one of the things we do for fun. We love hats, and we have a lot of hats that match. And matter of fact, we have a captain and a first mate hat, but I couldn't find the first mate hat, so I grabbed another captain hat. But I like hats because it keeps my hair from blowing in my eyes, and we just have fun. And of course, one of the most interesting things I got to tell you on our last cruise, this officer came up and he said, "Good day, Captain." And I said, "Good day, mate." And I was looking at his name tag. I just said, "And what do you do on the ship?" "Oh my God, you're the captain."
The real captain.
The real captain. So I said, "You need to be wearing this hat." He said, "Oh, it looks better on you." But it's a fun thing that we do.
Yeah.
And we want every day to be a fun day. You know, we don't know how long, none of us know how long we have left.
So speaking of fun days, how long have you two been together and how long have you been cruising?
Well, it's interesting. Most people assume we've been married for many years because he's 92 and I'm, 86. But we've only been married 4 years.
Wow.
And it's interesting because I was married for 63 years when my husband decided he wanted someone 40 years younger and 40 pounds lighter.
Oh,
And so we went through a divorce, and I've been cruising since 1967 was my first cruise.
wow.
So, you got to look at that. So what's that, 57 years? And my first trip to Europe was in 1964. So I've been traveling internationally 60 years, but cruising only 57 years.
Only. And how about you, Bob? How long have you been cruising for?
This trip that we're on now, I think it probably 3 years.
Yeah, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years.
Okay.
And I love it.
Yeah, and I just heard that you're having a birthday soon.
Yes, I am.
And how old will you be turning?
I am looking at my chronological age will be 24 years. Because
24
of
years.
my birthday on the 29th of February.
Oh, what an amazing birthday. February 29th, you're a leap year birthday.
That's correct.
Oh, wow. So you'll be 24 or
92.
92. Wow. Well, happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
My father was born on the 28th, and he told me when I was born, he tried to have the doctor change the date so it'd be the same. He wouldn't do it, so we celebrated our birthdays together. He died when he was 97.
Wow. Wow.
Since we're talking about age, I have to say I'm very blessed to have good genes. My grandfather remarried at 95 after being divorced 45 years. My grandmother renewed her driver's license at 98. And my mother, lived to be 91. So I'm
Wow.
blessed that I have good genes.
Wow. That is amazing. Now, how did you guys meet then?
Well, I write books, and he read my book, my last book, which was Turning Your Scars into Stars, A Journey from Mourning to Joy. And it talks about losing my son and how my son was murdered. And he had also lost a son, and so he read my book and wrote me a letter. And so really what is interesting is I really didn't know him then, but we lived in the same town, and we met in a Bible study a couple months later. And we didn't go together very long. We just decided, that we would, and I asked him if he liked to cruise, and he said he had never been on a cruise. And I said, well, I've got all these cruises I paid for.
Wow.
I paid for single supplements, I paid for 2. So we decided that we would just cruise. And after the first day of cruising, he was addicted.
He was addicted to cruising or
He's
addicted to you? So, Dr. Sue, you've mentioned that your previous book, I think that's one of 5 or 6, but
Yes.
you're working on another one, I
I'm
understand.
working on another one. My latest book is Globetrotting 101, How to Travel More for Less. One of the things that I found was so many people came up to me and said, oh, I want to travel, but I can't afford to travel. And it's because they don't know how to travel. And so I decided that I would write a book and tell them how to travel. And it has over 800 websites
Wow.
that on how you can travel inexpensive. It even has a chapter on traveling with limited mobility or with disabilities, because I felt it was important that, and I've noticed that since I first started traveling, now so many people travel that have disabilities, which they didn't do 60 years ago. So I wanted people to know that even if they have a disability, they can travel. And so that's my latest book. It'll come out hopefully this year.
And that's 2024.
Yes,
Yeah.
2024. And we'll just see. But I really want it to be helpful to people.
So is it focused primarily on cruise ship travel or all kinds of travel?
It's on all aspects. But I got to tell you, my cruise ship travel on cruising is the longest chapter. It has 60 pages because I love to do that. I love to cruise, and so it's one. But the book will have probably 400 pages.
Wow.
And so it has a lot of information. And it even has a chapter on how you can save money to travel. Not only how do you travel inexpensive, but how do you save money.
Wow.
And so hopefully it will help people realize that, traveling, you don't have to be rich to travel.
Wow, I do think that would be the perfect book. I mean, Kirk and I, we travel a lot and we're giving tips as well to people, but I think if there were one central place where you could get this information, so Globe-Trotting, what is it?
Globetrotting 101.
Globe-Trotting 101.
How to travel more for less.
How to travel more for less. This sounds like the perfect book, the perfect read for all types of people, beginners who've never traveled before.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does. It's going to be not only for beginning travelers, probably more for beginning travelers, but it's also for those seasoned travelers who want to save money. And so I just want everybody to know that they can. And you are a great example. I have in my book about how, that some people, it's a matter of priority. Mm-hmm. That people can do it. They have to make up their mind to do it. And it has to be a priority. And you certainly have proven that. And I've really enjoyed your blog. I love reading travel blogs about world nomads and people that not give up their job, but decide to change their whole life. Mm-hmm. And they begin a new chapter in their life. And I think that's important. It's important that, some people stay forever in the same job and they're unhappy.
Yeah.
And they have regrets at the end of their life.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important not to have regrets, that you go ahead and do. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait to turn a certain age or a certain monumental time.
No.
You just do it when the time is right, and whether it's now or 5 years from now.
And it's interesting because a lot of people give excuses, and one of the excuses is I'm too old. Well, at 92 and 86, that's not a good excuse. Or I can't afford to do it. Well, that's not an excuse because I tell you how you can. So it's important.
Yeah, I do think that it is a mindset. With you saying, some people say, I can't afford to travel, but yes, if you really set your mind to something, the money will appear.
That's right. It has to be a priority for
you. It has to be. Like, if you can visualize it, and if it's really a passion, you've made a decision, I feel that things fall into place. That's just the way my philosophy, how I live.
Oh, I agree with you. And so often people say, or another excuse is, I'm disabled, or I walk, I have limited mobility. Well, you look on there's so many people that you can read about. Eric Weinheimer, I think his name Weinheimer, he climbed the Mount Everest, even though he was blind. And there's 300 people have died on Mount Everest while climbing. 200 bodies are still there because they can't get them off. But Nick Fuccetti, that he has no arms and legs, and yet he traveled the world. So, if these people can do it, you can do it. And it's a matter of priority. And one of the things that people ask me all the time was, how do you travel? Well, you have to do your homework. Mm-hmm. You have to do your homework. You have to plan ahead. It's just like I was just writing a chapter on traveling with limited mobility about service dogs. If you have a service dog, you need to start about 6 months in advance because you have to contact the embassy of the country. Your dog has to have certain documentation. So you have to do that. You can't just wait until the last minute.
Nope. No. And we've seen several service dogs on different ships, on princess ships, as a matter of fact, over this past year alone. Well, I think that you guys are super inspirational, and I am so honored to have met you both and spent time. We've had a couple of dinners together and a few lunches together, and I just enjoyed every second with both of you, and I find you very inspirational in the stories you've shared. So thank you so much for being interviewed by me today. And
Oh, it was our pleasure. We just enjoyed meeting you and your husband. And, you know, the great thing to me is the journey itself rather than the destination. The people you meet, the things you learn about. And, you know, that makes the trip wonderful.
Yeah.
And it gives you memories. I've learned, the one thing I've learned is to collect memories rather than things. I have a whole house full of things now that I'm trying to get rid of. So I would say on advice, you know, collect memories rather than things. But I just thank you for this opportunity to share.
Yeah.
And also, I'm on YouTube. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, right. What is
yes,
your
under
YouTube?
Dr. Sue Hamby.
And it's spelled SUE
Hamby.
HANB.
M was in Mary.
Oh, sorry. HAMBY. Sue Hamby.
Yes, Dr. Sue Hamby on YouTube.
Okay, and I'm sure when your book is ready, your link will be provided there as
It will
well.
be provided there. And my website is down now because I let it expire and someone bought it. But I think that, you know, I'm doing a new website and I'll have my blog back up.
Perfect. Okay.
And it'll be under Globetrotting 101 rather than Sue Hamby.
Perfect. Well, thank you both so much once again.